On December 27, 2024, I announced my open source project QuickSnip on YouTube. And suddenly, views started to increase. More and more people were watching, commenting, and subscribing. 5 days in, and we are looking at 15k views with 1000 likes on YouTube and incredible 200 plus stars on GitHub. So I decided to share my journey about managing an open source project in these 2 weeks. Let's get started. When working on an open source project, README and contributing files are often overlooked, but they are the only way contributors can understand what your project is about and how they can contribute. These files explain your expectations for the community. Once you establish solid README and contributing files from the start, it will save you hours when dealing with pull requests. Trust me, this is from experience. Now, let's talk about the legal side of open source. You might have already seen license file in pretty much every open source project, the most common one being MIT license. Basically, if a project does not have a license, copyright laws kick in automatically. That means others cannot use or modify your code, which defeats the whole spirit of encouraging people to use and contribute to your project. That's why always add a license to keep things simple and legal for everyone. Everyone has their own coding style, but in open source projects, everyone should be on the same page. And formatting tools like Prettier set a standard for coding style. As soon as pull requests started rolling in, an immediate issue was code formatting. We immediately created an issue for it and resolved it as quickly as possible. One major lesson I learned about open source is trust. As the project grew, managing it solo became overwhelming. When people were adding snippets to our database, I noticed a few people consistently reviewing and giving them great feedback. So I decided to make them collaborators. Now our collaborators help merge pull requests, review issues, and keep things running. I just show them the paths and let them lead. If you are serious about scaling, learn to trust your community. And for personal public repo like ours, only way to allow your trusted contributors to merge or reject pull requests is through giving them a collaborator role. However, you are not able to assign roles or manage access for collaborators, which I learned is possible in organization repo, something we may consider to switch to at some point as we grow. When there is a pull request, it was difficult to know what was it about unless one of our collaborators review it themselves. And managing hundreds of them can be overwhelming. After some research, I found that CODEOWNERS was a thing. Basically, it will let you assign specific contributors to different parts of your project. For example, we have 3 types of maintainers. Global maintainers, who are responsible for the whole scope of the project. Code maintainers, who take care of bugs and new features. And last but not least, snippet maintainers, who review snippet-related pull requests and see whether it fits the scope of QuickSnip. Now with CODEOWNERS setup, it will automatically notify the right maintainers when there is a pull request with a change on their assigned folders. But remember, maintainers need to have right access, so you need to make them collaborators first. I was wondering how some repos had this sponsor button. After digging the settings for a while, I found that you need to create a funding file under .github folder, in which you can add any of your sponsor links. I have added my Ko-fi link, and now you can support QuickSnip as well. It's not necessary, but always appreciated. As more and more people were suggesting new ideas and feature requests, we needed a better way of communication to discuss those ideas with our maintainers. One of our maintainers suggested Discord. Now we have a QuickSnip community server. There is also GitHub discussions we were experimenting with, but more people were liking and joining Discord server, so sorry GitHub discussions. In open source projects, it's easy to get lost in issues when you have to differentiate what's a bug, feature request, or something unrelated. So I visited other open source projects to get an idea on how they are managing their issues. And I came across a developer quiz site from FreeCodeCamp. When I tried to create an issue, I saw 4 options to choose from: bug report, feature request, documentation, and general. It was very clean and organized. After taking some inspirations, I implemented them in our own project. Now PRs were next. In our project, some pull requests didn't follow style guide or sometimes had no descriptions. It made it difficult for our maintainers to review the PRs. And to my luck, there were pull request templates as well. Thank you, GitHub. First, I gathered feedback from our maintainers, what they would like to add in pull request template so it can save their time. Then I created one. It contains the type of change, an important checklist, related issues, and additional infos. Now every PR is clear and consistent. GitHub Actions feels like magic, but in reality it's a really cool feature. QuickSnip now stores snippets as markdown files, but the frontend uses JSON to show them in the website. And manually converting markdown to JSON files? No thanks. We wrote a script in GitHub Actions and automated. Now whenever someone adds a new snippet, it converts the files automatically. I will talk more about this in my next video. Stay tuned. Code of conduct is often misunderstood on what it actually means. I will admit I thought code of conduct was about style guides at first. Turns out it's a set of rules people should follow to create a welcoming environment. Our community has been fantastic so far, and as we grow, a code of conduct will ensure we are always friendly and kind to each other. As the project started to gain traction, which is awesome, a lot of ideas and feature requests began pouring in, which is even more awesome. But the problem was, it was easy to lose focus. It was important to set the boundaries and understand the scope and future of QuickSnip. Inspired from this article on Contributing.md website, we created a file called Vision, which outlines the goals, roadmap, and the future of QuickSnip. While it outlines the current vision for QuickSnip, our proposed future plans may evolve based on community feedback and contributions, so stay tuned for future updates. The main purpose of Vision file is to stay focused on your goals. As the article puts it perfectly,
as a new maintainer, one person narrates how he regrets steering away from his vision in the early stages of his project when he got his first feature request. He appreciates that a clear vision has kept him focused and helped him prioritize important requests.
QuickSnip is hosted on Netlify, and here's the surprise I didn't see coming: build minutes. Since the project is on free plan, there is a limit on build minutes, which is 300. Basically, it's about how many minutes it takes from loading your dependencies, all the code stuff, to deploying them to the site. And according to Netlify, each build takes around 2 minutes. I didn't know about build minutes until I got an email notification from Netlify saying I had reached over 50% of build minutes in a few days. That's when I started to take action. I assume what was happening was that Netlify was also counting build minutes for every PR request, since it had to show the deploy previews before the PR is merged. So I had to disable deploy previews as well. Luckily, thanks to Netlify, build minutes are reset every month. I was so excited to find out about this. In our project, build minutes will reset on January 17, just one day after my birthday. These past 2 weeks taught me more than an entire year. So here's a small tip from my side. Open source is challenging, rewarding, and full of surprises. If you haven't started an open source project yet, do it now. You will grow, learn, and connect with amazing people. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.